I work technically for my dad. He owns the farm. We have primarily Limousin cattle. We've got about 250 cattle at the minute with 60 breeding cows, and we also have arable ground, and the pigs is new to us as of last year. I always was interested in farming. I would rush through my homework so that I could go out and help Dad when I was younger, and that sort of passion has come with me as I've grown up. I went through uni and finished uni, did work to do with that initially, but I was always sort of drawn back to wanting to help on the farm. So the pigs has been really good because it's something that we've both come into fresh. It's very much a joint effort. It means we're both starting at scratch, so I'm not necessarily learning everything from him. I'm learning at the same rate as him, which has been really good. We started last year with finisher pigs, just because we had no experience in pigs and thought a breeding unit was a step too far. We went for finishers because it was a way of us using our sheds when we had nothing else to do with them during the spring and the summer. When all the cattle are outside, we had empty sheds and thought we may as well try and turn our hand to something new and try and make a bit of a profit out of an empty space. In terms of the sort of layout of the sheds, we haven't really done much. The biggest issue that we have found between cattle and pigs is that the gates need to be a lot lower and we need stock board on absolutely everything. So in terms of the layout of the sheds, we didn't really change too much. We've put a few extra dividing gates just to keep them in smaller batches. So for anyone getting into farming, I think pigs would be a good place to start because you don't need a huge availability of land like you do for sheep and cattle. You can basically convert any sort of shed that you already have standing and it'll work for you for fattening pigs in particular.
The interesting thing about pigs is it's not really very land dependent, so they'd rather be in a shed than run around outside. And so it means that really what we're looking for is buildings that can be adapted to be used for a pig enterprise, either built from scratch, although obviously that's quite a big investment, or adapted as has been done here at really quite a low expense. The great thing about pigs is the cash flow. There's a large volume of cash circulating through the business all the year round. It's not seasonal. So that can make a real lift to any farming business. We've seen some really interesting models where we have farmers who maybe have an asset, buildings or land and so on, but they themselves are not wanting to actively manage it, and they've been starting to develop ways of share farming so that younger people can come into it, put the management, the labour in and so on, the other farmers putting in the capital resources, and then they're splitting the rest of the cost down the middle. Probably the biggest value is getting the skills and the experience of the other partner. And that really helps. There's an element of mixing the new ideas and the fresh ideas that you bring, but also having a certain amount of expertise coming in.
I think the biggest bit of advice I could give anyone considering it is don't be afraid to ask for help or ask for advice. If you're thinking about doing it, I would say go for it, give it a go. If you're just starting with a fattening unit, you don't have a huge overhead other than the actual pigs themselves to begin with. Just to give it a trial, start with smaller numbers and then boost as you go.